Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Greg, I got to preview what's coming for me. I'm leaving on a jet plane as soon as possible.
We will check in with you from Germany next week in
Yes,
review.
yes, I will be coming to you from this quaint village in the German Alps, full of cheese and confused about what day it is. That's what I'm hoping for. Um, but I've been off doing staycation stuff, so I don't know what's going on in the world of news, but I'm making my own, I guess.
Well, we like to say the produce industry never stops, and I think this week it might stop a little bit.
It's a slow news week, especially when you have the holiday like at the very beginning of the week. For sure, no one's in the office this week. I can remember like trying to make phone calls this week of the year, and it's not worth it. So we did have coming up on New Year's this weekend. I wait until I digest every single trend piece that I can to come up with my own. And I try to like steer clear of like the wacky stuff and come up with the stuff that's like actually meaningful to most of us in the produce industry. So, did I surprise you with anything this year?
No, I was pleasantly surprised. You had several nice you referenced the bug column that I wrote earlier this year about how the ick factor is in there, and you even delicately talked about pooping.
I mean, I covered all the bases, right? For my trends piece, I wanted to talk about the trends that are like, here's how we do trends nowadays. It is not something that is a 6-month editorial calendar, carefully crafted piece. It is what went viral on social media and how is everyone reacting to it. And is that viral thing going to stick around? And one thing that I think is sticking around is dragon fruit. I mean, dragon fruit is trendy because it's pretty, or that's at least how it started. And this year, dragon fruit went mega viral and became a mega trend because it helps you poop. And
Yeah, it's so pretty you can put it on your shoes.
yes, I have the Dragon Fruit Air Force Ones, right? But anytime you hear someone on TikTok talking about the business, you can go in the comments and everyone's like, yellow dragon fruit. You got to eat yellow dragon fruit for that to happen. And the thing is that when it first launched, it first was approved for importation to the United States. One of the importers was like, you got to be careful with this stuff. If you eat too much of it, but apparently that's a feature, not a flaw. So that's what makes a mega trend and not just a flash in the pan trend. And on that note, I think that we're going to see a whole lot more sponsored content. And it's going to have to be carefully handled to make sure that people don't get caught because the FTC is out there. Since so much of our media is influencer media nowadays, you have to disclose that stuff. You can't just be like sneaking around and having something in the background of your, oh, by the way, I love citrus and they totally didn't pay for me to have this here. You can't have that because they'll come after you for it. Because Richard Smalley not too long ago wrote an article about some dietitians who got busted by the FTC for some they promoted sponsored content without proper attribution.
Right.
Um,
And it's
so
people that are familiar to our industry. If they click through, and we didn't go out of our way to name names and embarrass people, but we put links in there. And if someone wanted to see, there were some people who have appeared in Blue Book and other media. So there were some well-known people. I think that's an awesome first step because I mean this is a little bit inside baseball talk, but the journalism school we went to is not the journalism that's being practiced practically anywhere, whether it's CBS News or USA Today or the Wall Street Journal or Sports Illustrated. I mean, they got busted with AI writers. I mean, everything.
right.
I mean, there's so little ethics in that business now. It's a damn shame, and that's why we keep our standards high, and we do have sponsored content on our site, and we label it clearly so our readers know this is paid, all this other stuff is not paid.
Right. Yeah. Proper attribution is really the key to maintaining your integrity on this stuff. Because if you start reading it and you're like, oh man, it's some of that, especially on TikTok, there's a certain like brand of supplements that you like. It's green water. And you know what, it's taking shots at the produce industry. So whatever the bloom whatever stuff is, you can see it in the background of a lot of these big name influencers, and they're all going to get busted for promoting that stuff without attribution, because you just got to put that hashtag PR if you're unboxing something, or hashtag ad, and make sure that you're doing your due diligence on that stuff. Because I really feel like media, and not just the journalism part of it, but media is evolving to meet people where they are. You mentioned sports really quickly, and the funny thing is there's so few local newspapers anymore covering sports. And my son is a high school athlete, right? And nowadays they've got guys out there doing Instagram sports, and they're incredibly successful. They have their all conference team, or all Austin team, and they got dudes out there with taking, as a photojournalist, video that I'm like, wow, they're publishing that. But you know what? The kids love it and the parents love it because it's helping promote their kids out there in sports. And this is how the sports media has changed, because there's no local newspapers covering your local high school football team or your local basketball team. Similarly, I mean, we're seeing all different kinds of media. People don't have the touch points that they used to in TV. We don't have the Parade magazine that used to be the juggernaut of weekly recipe or monthly recipes. Or that's weekly, Parade's weekly, or it used to be
Yeah.
back in the day.
Even your
Um,
Sunday newspaper, if you can remember what that was like.
yeah, right. So we don't have those touch points anymore. So it's evolving and changing. And some of it's bad, it's not great media, but some of it is just, this is the way that we're going to have to find ways to reach people, because, the influence part of the media is how things get sold. You
Right.
know,
And it takes off when people know that it's authentic. And
right.
and when it's not, that's when it flames. And I mean, you talked about functional foods and um, meat analog stuff. I mean, a lot of that stuff is just not authentic. And
No,
one of
no.
the reasons it fails, and that's where the produce industry really has another huge opportunity to be the authentic, real plants and real solution providers.
Yeah, and I think we have an incredible opportunity. I think that, and I've talked about this with other folks. I'm a huge fan of the TikTok format, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Instagram, the quick videos. See, the funny thing is about videos is that back in the day they had to be 3 minutes or under, and then it evolved to, oh, long form is totally fine, and now we're back to short form. And this is just what catches people's eyes now. And I think that it's still a young media because the older generations haven't adopted it, and the younger kids are jumping either from TikTok over to Snapchat, and that's even quicker. So there's a lot of opportunities, but a lot of it is short form video, and that authentic telling your story kind of thing never gets old in the produce industry, but you gotta make sure that you're doing it in a way that is consumed by the right person nowadays, if that makes sense. Like if you're still going after, you know, middle-aged Gen X mom, maybe let's talk about fiber and your functional foods. You
You have
know?
to know your audience for sure. But it also is smart to go after the people with money.
Right. Right. It's a really interesting list, and I hope you take a look at it. But we're going to cut it off short because nobody's got the attention span this week. We're all ready to have our New Year's Eve parties. So that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I got some ceramics,
Oh, look at that.
some ceramic blueberries. I think that's nice. A little
Oh
promotion.
yeah, the old style green fiber thing. That's actually really cute. I like it.
Beautiful. And these don't go in it, but I got some pineapple chunks too.
That is an area of ceramics that I had not considered making before. But you know what? I have a ton of that stuff that's going up on this wall. One of these days, I promise, I will actually stage my office, but today is not that day. I got places to go.
Well, that's a New Year's resolution for you.